Hello everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant here from Meeple University. Today we'll be teaching you how to play Forever Home, a game of second chances for shelter dogs. Game designed by Lottie and Jack Hazel and published by Birdwood Games.
Let's get to the game.
In Forever Home, players are workers at a local animal shelter, attempting to gain and train dogs in order to rehome them out to the different potential homes. Players will work to get the highest scoring training cards and to manipulate their dogs in the way that will score the most points between the homes and the training objectives. And whoever scores the most points over the course of 7 cards trained will be the winner. To set up, place this central board on the commendations side. Then shuffle up these 7 coloured dog meeples and place one at random onto each of these 7 spaces. This assigns one of 3 different majority objectives which players will be fighting to reach for each of the 7 dog colours. Separate all of the home cards into their 4 different types: city, suburbs, countryside and foster home. Shuffle each deck separately and choose one at random which you'll play with for this game. There is only one option for the foster home. These provide other endgame scoring objectives for the dogs which you rehome through the game. Shuffle up all the training cards and then deal 4 into a face-up row in a 2 or 3 player game, or 5 in a 4 or 5 player game. Shuffle the 98 coloured dog tokens in the bag, and then deal the same number of dog tokens again into a face-up row. Give each player a shelter board, which for your first game should be flipped to the basic side. Deal each player 2 training cards, which go into a hand which they may look at, but keep secret from other players. Draw twice as many dog tokens as there are players from the bag. Choose a first player, and now for the rest of setup, make sure all players do understand the rules of the game, as the choices you're about to make will impact your play. In turn order, each player chooses 1 dog from those available in the supply, and then in reverse turn order chooses a second dog until each player has 2. Choose 2 squares in your grid where you'll place your starting dogs. You're now ready to play. Forever Home is played in turns, starting from the first player and going clockwise around the table. On your turn, you will take 2 actions. There are 3 different actions you can take, and you may take the same action twice. The actions you take may also result in you completing training cards from your hand during the turn. Your first action is to take 1 dog token. From among the dogs available in the supply, choose 1 dog tile, then replenish it immediately from the bag, then add it to an empty square of your shelter board. To take a card, choose 1 card from among those available in the face-up supply, replenish it immediately from the top of the deck, and add it to your hand. You have a maximum hand limit of 5 training cards. To move a dog, choose 1 dog tile in your grid, and then move it to an orthogonally or diagonally adjacent empty space. If after an action you meet the requirements on any one of the training cards in your hand, then you must complete that training card immediately. If you meet multiple requirements, choose which one to resolve. The icons depicted on a training card represent dogs of a matching colour, making out a shape which must be present on your training board. Here, for example, it's 3 dogs of any matching colour in this diagonal pattern, so it would be met by these 3 dogs. The pattern can be flipped or rotated however you wish, so it would also be met by these 3 dogs in this configuration. The pattern on a training card could be made up of 2 colours. Here, for example, you'd need a total of 5 dogs, with 3 in one colour in this pattern, and 2 in another colour in this pattern. A training card may also require 1 or more empty spaces as part of its pattern. Here, for example, the dog component of this card is met by these 2 green dogs and this 1 blue dog. However, you would need to move this red dog out of the way to create the empty spaces necessary to fulfill this card. When you score a training card, it will give you the number of victory points shown in the bottom right of the card and let you rehome the number of dogs shown in the top left of the card. choose that many dog tokens from those which made up the pattern which completed that card. Then for each of those tokens, move it off your shelter grid and place it into one of the 4 rehoming sections: city, suburbs, countryside, or foster home. Pay close attention to the commendations board and the home cards. In particular, the scoring objectives on each of the 4 home cards counts only the dogs that you choose to home to the matching location. So making these choices strategically is key for maximising your points. Then move the completed card to your face-down pile of scored cards. The end of the game is triggered when any one player completes a 7th training card. Continue playing until all players have completed the same number of turns, and you'll proceed to final scoring. First, evaluate the competitive objectives on the commendation board. In each case, the player or players who have the most of a certain colour of dog in a certain position will gain the victory points shown. In the left column, it's most in training, meaning most of that dog still on your training grid. Here, the right player would get 1 point for having 2 orange to 1, while both players would get 3 points for having 2 blues. The middle column is most rehomed, meaning the most of that colour of dog that's been moved to one of the homes. Here, the right player gains 3 points for more red, the left player gains 2 points for more yellow, and both gain 1 point for green. The third column is for having that colour of dog in the most different rehoming locations. So the right player has rehomed purple to 2 homes versus 1, so would gain 3 points, and 1 pink to 0 for 1 point. Next, players independently gain points for meeting the objectives on the home cards. City cards score by having a large number of different coloured dogs homed there. The suburbs cards score by meeting certain sets of dogs as depicted by the card. A given set on a card can be completed multiple times, so looking at this top card, this combination here could be a 3 and 2 1s for a total of 5 points. Countryside cards score by having a certain number of pairs or triples, and like the suburbs cards, these can be scored multiple times if you have enough dogs. And the foster home simply scores 1 point per dog. Finally, add the points from your completed training cards. The player with the highest score wins. If tied, whoever rehomed the most dogs wins, and if still tied, victory is shared. Once you're familiar with the game, you can choose to use the advanced side of the shelter board, and all players must use the same side. This comes with 5 bonus action icons, and you'll trigger that bonus action, which counts as a free action on your turn, when you either move or place a dog token onto that icon. The exceptions are that it doesn't activate during setup, nor if you immediately remove the dog from the space as part of completing a training card. The bonus action is always optional, and if one bonus action triggers another, then you can resolve that second bonus action as well. Each of the 3 arrow bonus actions allows you to move a different one of your dogs any number of spaces in the direction shown on the arrow. You can move through another dog as part of this action, but cannot finish on the same space. This action allows you to switch a training card from your hand with 1 in the face-up supply, and this lets you switch out one of the other dogs from your shelter board with 1 in the face-up supply as well. Finally, the rulebook also contains rules for solo play, which will use the solo side of the commendations board and this deck of cards to drive the automated actions. And that's how to play Forever Home. We hope you enjoyed this video, and check out the link to the product page in the description below.
Thank you so much for watching. Everything you do will help us, every single view. Every time you like our videos, our Instagram, subscribe if you like. Every single comments also will help us and let us know that you're there. And make sure you're doing something fun today. See you next time.